Okay, as a wrap up, I just wanted to show you the results of my what I call simple cooking for a week out of my food box. Again, I usually get 4 of these loaves of bread. I'll get 3 12-ounce packages of oatmeal, which is more than enough. This is my lentil soup, and this is the Dick Proenneke bean stew. Now these are frozen, so what I'll do is I'll make 2 of these and 2 of these, and I'll freeze them on the weekend. And then, you know, the night before, like tonight, I'll take one out and put it in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow for lunch, that'll be all set. Slice myself some bread, use my granola for the breakfast. So that's 2 good meals, and then for supper, you know, depending on what the family's having or how hungry I am still, then I'll make some spaghetti or macaroni and cheese or bacon and eggs or steaks or whatever. But this is kind of my, what I call the foundation of what I do for the simple cooking out of my food box. I just wanted to give a little introduction to the video that follows this. After I did that video, I just thought of a couple of things. Again, this is all bulk, weighs probably a good 50 pounds. I got it on this little cart, so if I want to take it back, you know, a quarter mile or a half a mile into a primitive type campsite, I can do that. Again, it's mainly a car camping setup. Here's my cooler, and you know, I can put some ice or ice packs in there. This has most all my cooking utensils in it, as well as all those supplies. It's pretty organized. I mean, it's a little deep container, but you know, it works well. It's tough. It's waterproof. It's not animal proof. Of course, it's not bear box or anything like that. And the other thing I just wanted to say is, you know, I bake about 2 times a week, and you know, if I can bake my granola and my bread twice a week, I'm good. If I want to have something extra like corn muffins or biscuits, of course, then I have to bake those. The other thing is I'm just trying to create a balanced diet here without a lot of preservatives. Of course, you know, it's not completely organic and it's not completely salt-free. It certainly isn't gluten-free, so if you have a special diet, this isn't going to work for you. But if you're just the type of person that goes to the grocery store and picks stuff up, I'm just trying to give you an idea of how you can live off of a relatively simple meal. The other thing I see a lot on YouTube is people, of course, doing prepping for, you know, whatever kind of a situation they think is going to happen. One thing I encourage you to do, and of course some people do it, but I see very few videos on it. Yankee Prepper is one that does do this. The thing I'm going to encourage you is, you know, try eating a couple of days out of your food storage, whatever it is, and cooking it, and realizing you need water and all those kinds of things, because a lot of people store stuff away and I don't think they ever really eat it. Again, if you're just creating an extra pantry and you're proficient at cooking, and of course, you know, traditionally this has been, you know, the women of the household, so to speak, you know, it's not a problem. But if you're a guy and you've never done any of this on a long-term basis, you know, like for a week at a time, I strongly encourage you to create a plan and just try it out. So that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching. Okay, a few months back, maybe 6 months ago, I don't know, I have to look it up, did a video on kind of my food list, my weekly food list, trying to cut it down, live simple, not eat at fast food so much, not eat out so much. So I just wanted to point out a couple of changes that I've had over the last 6 months. Part of it is you just get bored of the same stuff. And before I go through the new food box, I'll call it, it's really all it is. It's my weekly food box as well as my camping food box. Let me point out a couple of things that I find myself somewhat craving, and these are things that take some extra work and preservatives, you know, some preservation technique like a refrigerator, freezer. Some steaks, I get these no-name steaks, they're frozen. I get 3 of the petite cuts, and that lasts me for a good week. You know, I cut them in half and fry them up, and those are about $8 for 3 of them. Spinach, about the only vegetable that I like cooked is spinach, so I get some of the spinach. I might dehydrate it. And then cheddar cheese. I might go through 3 of these 8-ounce things of sharp cheddar cheese for $2 a piece. So right there, I mean, that's $8 plus $2, $10 plus, say even go through 2 of these, that's $14. The other thing that I'm just going to point out that's a little difficult to make in the field, so to speak, or the bush, but I know it's possible, is this no-knead bread. So this is a loaf of the Jim Lahey no-knead bread. The recipes and demos are all over the internet. I'm not going to show it to you. It's basically 3 cups of flour with a 1/4 teaspoon of baker's yeast and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 cups of warm water. And then there's a process to make it. So those are the 3 things that I just wanted, or 3 or 4 things I show that kind of can't stay in the food box. The other thing that I do find myself craving once in a while is candies like Tootsie Rolls, which I don't have in here right now, but I just noticed I had a craving for that. And then bacon and eggs. And again, eggs can pretty well be, you know, kept cool and they're okay. And if you get this pre-cooked bacon, that stuff can kind of stay out and not be refrigerated until you open it. But those are some extra things that really aren't in the food box that you do have to manage separately and have some kind of refrigeration, freezer, or preservation system going on there. So let's go over the box. I have this 18-gallon Rubbermaid roughneck container. It's like $8 at Home Depot, and I'm just gonna kind of quickly go through it, not in any real organized fashion, but show you what's in here. I use these small little russet, or not russet, small little salad potatoes, so I'll get a box of those. Again, this is all about $50, and if I stretch it, it can last me about 10 days. So, potatoes, I find those are great. 3 things that I've been making myself a lot lately are lentil bean soup with spinach and onions and a little chicken bouillon. The Dick Proenneke bean stew or soup with potatoes and Great Northern beans and seasoning and bacon, essentially. And then that no-knead bread. 2 loaves of that will last me a good, 3 days. So I can make that twice a week. The bread, because there's no preservatives in it, only lasts about 3 days before it starts getting stale. So, going on. These are just my cooking utensils. I've seen those before. My baking pan is in there, or my little Paderno fry pan. Now you've seen my 2-quart or 8-inch Dutch oven, the little Dutch oven. I use that a lot as long as I have a stove to bake with, which of course I do at home. If I was out on the, camping, then I would have to use the fire. Good old macaroni and cheese, a few preservatives in the cheese mix, some sandwich bags, reclosable sandwich bags, corn muffin mix, another baking item, a couple of packs of tuna. Again, this is no order, it's just kind of how it's thrown in here. I buy these 2-cup Tupperware type. These are by the local big box store, Roundy's, which you can get them Ziploc and stuff. And they're really pretty good for eating out of and putting your leftovers in, and microwave, dishwasher. I don't have a dishwasher. They do break eventually. They're not real tough, but they're cheap. Okay, this is kind of the condiments box right here. And again, no real order. Some honey, cheap honey. Tomato paste. I've mentioned before how I use dried tomato paste. Of course, that's expensive, but it's worth it because it's lightweight. But if you're just going to the store, I just get a couple of cans of this concentrated generic brand tomato paste. Again, this isn't all just 1 week's worth of seasonings. This lasts. Garlic pepper, I find they use a lot. Chili powder, Tabasco sauce, cayenne pepper, olive oil. This is the baker's yeast. Little onion bits, dehydrated onion bits. Just because once you cut an onion, it's kind of hard to keep it without smelling, and especially if you're out camping, you don't want all that smell for the animals. Oolong tea, some brown gravy mix, and then I make my own spaghetti mix just using this powdered, pre-mixed seasonings. So that all goes in what I call the seasoning box here. Just throw all that back in there. Fits in there pretty easily, as you can see. I mean, if I was out camping, I could make it all nice and neat and organized, but that just keeps all that stuff there in one spot. Again, if I'm car camping, I'm going to be using my single burner propane stove here, right? And I have a little adapter to refill this off of a 20-pound tank. So that's my propane stove. You've seen that before. Granola, that's the other thing that I make, granola cereal. I've been eating for breakfast essentially granola cereal all the time. it was really getting expensive. So I've shown you how I make that before, but I do make my own granola cereal, which really the only thing you have to do there is bake the oatmeal, you know, to get it kind of dried out and crunchy. And you could even probably try frying that with a lid in, you know, aluminum foil, but you do have to bake that for about 20 minutes, and that's just mixing all ingredients like sunflower seeds, walnuts, honey, corn syrup, some brown sugar. I use some 10-grain meal, you know, oatmeal type stuff with different barley and rye and all these different ground grains. So walnuts, I use that for the granola. Great Northern beans, lentils, I mentioned those. So we got those in there. Raisins go in my granola, so this is 2 pounds of raisins. You know, if I'm snacking on it, I'll use these for snacking on as well as inside my granola. So that's kind of my fruits and vitamin C. Rice, last time I did the video, I was really high on the rice. I used rice all the time. To be honest with you, which I knew, I got tired of it after a couple of months. I still keep it around, but now I'm on to beans. I'll probably get tired of beans, go back to rice. I don't know. I do use these pre-mixed packages of instant potatoes. Those are cheap, 75 cents, gives you 4 servings. I usually use half at a time, so that's a cheap filler meal. Angel hair spaghetti, I've mentioned that before. Splurge a little bit, kind of expensive. Some jelly, you know. So again, this is all comfort stuff. It isn't backpacking, so I'm not having to haul it. Peanut butter, I've switched to natural peanut butter. You know, all it has is peanuts and oil in it, essentially. That's it. Peanuts, oil, and salt. So no high fructose corn syrup, no preservatives, nothing. It's really not that much more expensive. Tastes fine to me. You know, I'm okay. Pepperoni, I've mentioned that before. I got a whole thing of pepperoni here. That's 1 pound. That's kind of my meat there. When I am on the bush, I put that in the lentil soup. But, you know, make little pizza sandwiches out of that. Drink. I drink a lot of water, of course, but, you know, I was getting kind of tired of just water. And again, you want that sweetness, you want that soda, you know, whatever it is. I really don't drink soda. So I've been drinking Tang, Gatorade, whatever, some drink mix with sugar in it. I just threw in here, just because it is my kind of go box, so to speak, a gallon of water. You know, of course I got canteens and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't last me a week. Of course you need about a gallon a day. Got a couple of little things of baked beans. Baked beans are great. Pop them open, eat them. Got some cheap canned peaches. I like canned peaches. Again, for my cereal, I've been using dried milk. Really, when I mix it with cereal, it tastes fine to me. I know a lot of people probably couldn't stand it, but for baking and with dried milk and with other things, it tastes fine. I wouldn't want to drink a glass all by itself. Oatmeal, plenty of oatmeal. And then I got in here 10 pounds of flour, which would definitely last me over a week, but it's amazing what you can do with flour. What I don't have in here is baking soda for Bannock and baking powder. I'm sorry, baking powder and salt to make Bannock, but I could do that, as well as dehydrated eggs or fresh eggs if I wanted to make pancakes. So anyhow, that's my food box camping, as well as, you know, kind of everyday living, trying to keep it cheap, about $35, $40 a week.